Welcome everybody, Brother Dan Goodwin here, the God's Final Jubilee Ministries. I'm your host, and we're glad that you're with us tonight. And we're going to share some things tonight about the new book, 7 Clocks a Tickin'. 7 Clocks a Tickin'. But a lot going on. This is the 3rd of October 2019. As I speak, the FBI has finished its investigation of the Judge Kavanaugh matter. Sounds like old-time radio, doesn't it? The Judge Kavanaugh matter. Anyway, they've completed that, and just took them a couple days. As I understand it, tomorrow, Thursday, the documents, the memos will be there in the Senate for the senators to look at, and I believe they're going to vote, have their first vote, and then the final vote Friday. That's what I understand. We shall see. But what a mess that has become. By the way, somebody has just been charged. This just came over. Somebody has already been charged with a crime of sharing emails and phone numbers of the senators on the committee, the Republican senators. And they have caught a staffer. They have caught a staffer for, I forget her name, but one of the Democrats, one of their staffers. And I hope that they throw the book at this person and tell them who told them to do it. That'll be interesting, huh? We'll see if that happens. So anyway, that's going on. Let's see. Lindsey Graham, Senator Lindsey Graham, who's shown more backbone than most of the senators, has come out and said he's going to see that there's an investigation concerning the Democrats on the committee. And I hope that happens. And I hope that some severe things, I hope there's some censorship, maybe even some people put out of the Senate, because it's a crime what they've done. And so we'll see what happens with that. And Donald Trump on Monday in Johnson City, Tennessee, I read that there was 20,000 people there. This huge crowds. And they're saying that there's several more seats, Senate seats, that are now swaying towards the Republicans. Let me let you in on a little secret. This Kavanaugh thing has hurt the Democrats because people are seeing how crazy they are and how unjust this is. You got to be a severe left-wing liberal to not see what's wrong with making the statement that we believe the woman, or we believe the judge is guilty. There's no evidence, but we believe it. That's wicked. That's just plain wicked. The Bible says in Proverbs, "He that answereth a matter before he heareth it is folly and shame unto him." So crazy stuff, huh? Anyway. Speaking of Johnson City, I will be in Johnson City area. I want to let you know about my upcoming 7 Clocks a Tickin' Prophecy and Book Tour coming up beginning October the 14th. Still a lot of openings, but October the 14th I will be in Elizabethton, Tennessee, which is just 10 minutes out of Johnson City, Tennessee. Go on the website, godsfinaljubilee.com. and click on the events tab up at the top, and you can see the address, the times of the services. I'll be speaking 3 times on Sunday, October 14th. That is just a week and a couple of days from the time of this recording. And I'm going to be doing 3 PowerPoint presentations beginning at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and then the evening at 6 p.m. all Eastern Standard Time. We'll be at my good friend's church, Brother Phil Hauser, my security guy. We're going to be there all day. In fact, we'll be there all weekend. Some folks are coming early. We've already got a few folks that are going to come, and they're going to be staying in Johnson City in a hotel. And we're going to meet at probably Golden Corral. And so there'll be Phil Hauser and his wife, me and my wife. Got several other ladies coming. And maybe you'd like to come. So if you're within driving distance of Johnson City, Tennessee, go check the website and check out the times and the address and all that. See if it's something you'd like to do. And let me know. I need to know if you want to have dinner with us. Now everybody's going to buy their own, but we are going to get together. If anyone that would like to, let us know, so we'll know whether to reserve a room or not. So if we get a good crowd, we'll see if we can reserve a room in there. So anyway, that's going on. By the way, here is the brand new book. Most of you already know I have been writing a book for several months now. I have been travailing, and one chapter in particular, where I'm telling you, Satan's getting a black eye with some stuff in this book. But here it is, the 7 Clocks Are Ticking book. Here it is. This is a proof copy. In other words, they print the book, they send it to me. My wife and I and my editor and others are looking through it to see if we can find any typos, errors, anything needs moved, that kind of stuff. By the way, the book is awesome. Let me just show you a few pictures. I blacked out the titles. I don't want to give everything away in the book, but if you can see that, I don't know, this book has over 40 images in it, and over like 23 color images, and that's just one of them right there. If you can see that, maybe you can try to guess what that chapter is about there from the picture. But there's several beautiful full color pictures in the book. Now you say, what's the big deal with pictures? I'll tell you what the big deal with pictures is. When you read a chapter title, and you begin to read that chapter, and you see a picture that kind of goes with the chapter, I put something in your mind. I think photos are very important, very helpful. And now there's several charts in the book, several timelines, and things like that in the book. It's called 7 Clocks Are Ticking Towards Christ's Soon Return. It is 218 pages. And a little bigger than I wanted, but I guess that's a good size. It's not too big. By the way, the Mystery of the Jubilee book was 296 pages, almost 300 pages, which I felt was a little too big. Scares some people when they see a book that big. So this book, I wanted to keep it under 200 pages. I actually wanted it to be around 150. It didn't happen. But 218 pages. And I believe it'll have you glued to the book. I believe it's going to be very exciting for you. Let me tell you a little bit about the book. Let me read the back cover for you. Time is running out. The condition of the world today is like the folks on the Titanic, eating, drinking, and being merry, unaware that time is running out, and their doom is just hours away. Like those on the Titanic, humanity is unaware of the judgment that is soon coming. The hour is late. There are 7 clocks all ticking towards midnight, and everything is about to change. This is not just a book about prophecy. It's a book that reveals the warning signs pointing toward the end times. I call them ticking clocks. These 7 clocks are sounding an alarm of impending doom, and are speeding towards the season of great tribulation upon the earth, a time of suffering and sorrow like the world has never seen. Today it is 5 minutes to midnight. Time is running out. Everything is about to change, and few are aware that a horrific storm is about to rock the planet. So that's the back cover of the book, and I think the book is going to be a blessing to people. Now there's some scary stuff in the book, I'll be honest with you. There's one chapter, I'll show you some pictures in a minute here, but let me just go through and show you. On page 3 is the partners page. Here on page 3, over here, the partners page, and you'll find that some of you have your name there. There's over 40 names there. I'm not sure exactly how many, but there's now there may be a couple more that we opened it back up because the print. I was thinking the book was going to print this coming Friday, 2 days from now. So I cut off the pre-orders because we had to get the names in the file for the pre-order for the people who are going to have the name in the book. But the printing has now been postponed until Monday or Tuesday. So it gives us a few more days to look over the book, try to find some typos, that kind of stuff. But it also gives you an opportunity, if you would still like to be in on the pre-order. I'm not going to go through all the details of that. You can go to the website and see it. Just go to the website. The thing will pop right up there in front of you, and you'll see what the pre-order special is. You're going to get 2 signed books, one of them signed right to you. And you're going to have your name in the book on page 3, like all these folks already have. Your name and what state you live in will be right there in the book. And so that's opened back up. Go to the website, it's there. So let me show you a couple things in the book here. Here's the table of contents. Part 1, the book is in 2 parts. Here's part 1, if you can see that. There's a picture there. Part 1 is called The 7 Jewels of Prophecy. And by that I mean this. A watch has many components, has little gears and wheels in there, springs and mainsprings. But a jeweler will tell you that the most important part as far as dependability and accuracy are the jewels that are in a watch. And a jewel is basically a little bearing that the things turn in. And they won't wear out. Those jewels will last for hundreds of years. And so I liken that to if you're going to understand prophecy, you need to. There's some foundational things. You need to have some jewels that you understand before you'll understand prophecy. So I give 7 jewels of prophecy. And by the way, let me turn the PowerPoint to the next page. There's a picture of the book that maybe you can see a little better than me holding this one up. And so, in other words, there are jewels inside of a watch. And those jewels are important to the dependability and the accuracy of a timepiece. And and I believe there are some jewels that you need to understand prophecy. And some of those chapters are a rapturous jewel. That's concerning the rapture, obviously. And it's a beautiful picture here in the book. You can see of a jewel and the open gates there, a rapturous jewel. We got wedding jewels, we've got discerning jewels, we got revelation jewels. That's a chapter that talks about helps you understand the book of Revelation. And look, how are you going to understand prophecy if you don't understand the book of Revelation? Feasting with jewels, 70 weeks with jewels, and one of my favorites, a jewel of great price. I'll maybe show you a picture of that in a minute here. Here's the heading and the picture for part 2 over here on this page here, if you can see that. And here's some of the chapter titles. I'm only going to give you maybe 1 or 2 of them, but let me read a little bit of the introduction. The introduction, most of it's on the back page. Some of it here concerns something else, and I'll let that be a surprise to you when you get the book. So the introduction is there. And then the preface explains the part 1 and part 2. The part 1 explains some basic concepts of prophecy, all likened to the inner components of a clock. A timepiece is made up of mainsprings, crown, hands. However, a wise repairman knows that the jewels inside the case are what determines both accuracy and dependability of a clock. So too, understanding basic prophetic concepts or biblical jewels will aid you and me and provide us a firm foundation of discerning the accuracy of end-time events. And part 2 is the 7 clocks. So there's 2 parts in the book, 7 chapters in part 1, and then you got the 7 clocks in part 2, and then a closing chapter in there. So end-time study is the process of revealing God's mysteries, the most exciting of which is the timing of His return and righteous judgment. And my screen just went on me. I wonder, let's see if I can get rid of that. Alright, we back yet? Okay, there we go. Alright, sorry about that. Anyway, end-time study is the process of revealing God's mysteries, the most exciting of which is the timing of His return. Thankfully, revelation of the Word points to a perfectly orchestrated timeline. And I give some more things there in the introduction. So then you get to part 1. Let me show you a few of the color photos that are within the book that I think you'll like. I love this one here on the left. Is some diamonds, beautiful. You're not going to be able to see them real well, I'm sure, but beautiful diamonds there. Then, let's see, here's the 6,000 year clock. This is one of the ticking clocks, and I'm not going to give you all of them, but let me just share this one with you. The first clock in the book, the ticking clock pointing towards the end times, is the 6,000 year clock. In other words, I believe the world's going to be 6,000 years, and then Christ comes and sets up the kingdom. I believe that, and I got some strong evidence in this chapter for why I believe that. And so there's a clock, there's a chapter there, the 6,000 year clock. Let me show you another picture or two here. I think I showed you that one already. I'm not going to give you the chapter title, but you might be able to guess it by that picture if you can see it. And let's see, let me read a quote or two for you. This is from one of the chapters in the book. The church of the Laodiceans is not just a symptom of a problem, but a sign of the end of an age, the church age. That's one quote. Here's another quote for you. I love this. And this is in that chapter that I travailed over greatly. And here's a quote that you'll enjoy. The world ends right where it began 6,000 years ago, with a bride, some liberating fruit, and a serpent. And you'll understand what that means as you read the chapter there. Here's another one for you, another quote. God's prophetic clock was pre-wound to tick for 6,000 years. And today we are living in its final hour. Maybe its final minutes, huh? So there's lots of little punchlines like that throughout the book, and I usually put them in big letters in a different font. They stick out, they jump out at you. And I've always loved that kind of thing when I read a book. Important things like that the author will put in highlighted. And the church is a parenthesis stuck in between the 69th and 70th week of Daniel. And that will jump out at you. Let's see. Here's an interesting one. There were only 3 people in the Bible that fasted for 40 days. Did you know that? Jesus, Moses, and Elijah. And they are all together at the Transfiguration. Those 3 men who fasted for 40 days. Have you ever thought about that? So, interesting stuff, huh? Let's see. There's that quote there about the... Whoa, here's my favorite chapter in part 1 is A Jewel of Great Price. I don't know if you can see that. What a picture. That just jumps out at you, doesn't it? A Jewel of Great Price. Can't wait for you to grasp that. It's a small chapter. It's not a big chapter, but here's a quote. There was 1 week left, and we call it the tribulation. You'll understand that when you see what that chapter is about. That'll make a lot of sense to you. Well, let's see. What else jumps out here? Let's see. Oh, I know. Here's an interesting one. Yeah, every person in the last 2,000 years who has set a date for the return of the Lord has been wrong. Let that sink in the next time someone tells you they have the rapture all figured out. The Lord intended us to know the season of His return, not the exact date. And so be careful, my friend, about trying to set a date and trying to figure this out. Just as there are 3 stages of the harvest in Israel, there are 3 stages of the resurrection. Hey, I like this one. This is good. A farmer may not know the day or hour of the harvest, but he certainly knows the season of the harvest. Boy, that's powerful. That's powerful. Who wrote that? I'm telling you, some of these things came as I put this together. I mean, that's not anything I've ever said before until I was writing this chapter. Listen to this. You won't understand this. The rapture involves us, but is not necessarily about us. Let that rattle around your brain a little. No, I'm not going to tell you what it means. You're going to have to get the book. But it's true. It's true. The rapture we think it's about us. It's not. It's not really about us. And don't get me wrong, I'm happy for the rapture. I'm happy to be a part of it. But it's not really about us. Babylon is a philosophy, a system, more so than a physical location. All right, now one or two more. Let's see. The United Nations is here because we are the United Nations. Let's see. I won't give them all away, but I'm just picking some out. Oh, let's see. Boy, here's a picture you'll like. I don't know, can you see that? Anyway, if you can't, oh well. The end is just ahead. Alright, let's see. I'm not going to give you the chapter title here, but you might see an interesting. This is a scary chapter here. Boy, it came together good, but it's a scary chapter. Let's see. I read that one already. I read that one. I'm going to save that one for you. I'm not going to read that. I want you to read that. Oh, which Bible caused grown men to weep with great conviction? Whew. Powerful. Let's see. The church is not the truth. The church is the protector and promoter of the truth, which is the Word of God. Wow. There's a quote there I want to read you, but I don't dare. There's one of the ticking clocks. Anyway, that's the book. We're working on it still. We're going to go through and find a few areas we want to change things, and maybe a typo here and there. My editor is looking at it now. My wife will be looking at it. I'll be looking at it. We may have another person looking. And the file will go to the printer on Monday, as far as I know. And they're going to zip off some books for us. And those books will be shipped to Tennessee, because that's where I'm going to be when these books are done. They'll be shipped to Tennessee to the meeting there, which is October the 14th. I'll be getting in there on the 12th. The books will be there on the 12th, and we'll be getting set up on Saturday. So if you're not doing anything, check out the website, godsfindjubilee.com. We'll click on the events tab and join us in the Johnson City, Tennessee area. By the way, this is just the beginning of our series of prophecy and 7 Clocks Ticking book tour. So if you're a pastor, or if you want to forward this to your pastor, or if you just have a Bible study or something you'd like to speak with me about coming, get a hold of me. Daniel at godsfinaljubilee.com is one email you can use, or you can go to the website. You can reach me there, or you can reach me on the Facebook page, wherever. But if you're interested in setting something up with me, let me know. The dates are going to start filling up fast, so you'll want to get on that. I got several in North Carolina in the works, New York, Pennsylvania, so that they're going to come in Missouri. So get on the schedule as soon as you can if you're interested in doing something. So anyway, exciting days. Pray for our country. Pray for our nation. Pray for those who have been chosen to have leadership positions in our country. And pray for your pastor. Pray for your church. And get ready, because time is running out. We'll see you next time.